vision,
Okay.
and then help with steps 2 and 3, which are kind of see where you're at now and identify any things, which you'll be a huge part of telling me where you're at now. And then 3, coming up with a game plan, which includes that end of the year vision. But what I've worked on with so many people is what steps from here to there are going to be the attractive ones to take, because a lot of the New Year's resolutions fall off by saying, all right, here's my goal at the end of the year. And they don't check at all where they're going during the year. And there's not really a plan. And it's kind of like, oops, didn't make it.
Right.
All right. Let me bring it up on my screen. Okay. Here we go. I have accomplished so much on my healthy journey prior to 2021. But as I look back in this year, my greatest successes were completed by my own motivation, sweat, and tears without prescription weight loss medication. I stopped taking prescription medications with huge cancer-causing warnings to lose weight. I no longer have big money insurance companies that know nothing about me or my past telling me that my weight and BMI do not fall within their parameters to approve $1,000 medication, which is prescribed for diabetes, hypertension, ADHD, with an off-label use for weight loss that I have been taking for years. I know that I had the tools to become stronger and better on my own, and I finally utilized them. I proved all the people that doubted me, myself, husband, kids, mom, that I could do it, and all these crazy things I set my mind to. I traveled to several national parks throughout Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming this summer. I was confident performing the activities my family was doing, and I was comfortable wearing the required clothing and equipment. Not long ago, I couldn't fit into a ride at the amusement park. I hiked, climbed, swam, rafted, etc. for 10 plus hours for 2 straight weeks. I can finally now give myself credit for the strength, confidence, and happiness I have achieved this year. Now I can actually see a difference, a change, forward progress, and it motivates me to continue my journey. Well written. And my mom, as an English teacher, would appreciate how you formed the sentences and included so many descriptive terms.
That's nice to hear.
Yes, and I don't always see that. So compliment
thanks.
both on the paragraphs and the content. And a lot of it speaks to me because that life is so attractive, to be able to go out and do things you want to do and experience so much of life that is so much greater than chasing a number on a scale. And you shared that you had started doing some of that traveling last year. Is that right?
Yes, I traveled Midwest last summer, went to Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, did a lot of sightseeing by car. And then, flying back on the plane, I was like, oh, darn, I wish that I had planned more to be outdoors. And we did raft and we did do a little bit of hiking, but I just wish I'd done a lot more. So I'm hoping to go back this summer.
Yeah, which parks did you go to?
We went to Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, Canyonlands, Arches, really cool places. So I'm hoping to go back and do more outdoor activities.
Very beautiful. And how old are your kids now?
16 and 13.
Okay, so they'll be able to go out and do them too, right?
Yes.
All right, so you can chase them up and down the mountains.
Yeah, I think it was just a little overwhelming when we got there. Like, I didn't plan anything. So then when you started looking in things to do, like certain things were booked because of COVID and all that, but and some things were even closed. So it was overwhelming. So this year we're hoping to go back and do a lot more of that stuff.
Well, it's good. You got to dip your toe in. It's kind of like setting goals for the year. You kind of you dip your toe in, you figure out what works, and then you give another shot at it, which you're doing again this year.
Yes.
And I do also like that there wasn't like a specific scale number data set that you really want to. Sometimes it's tricky when we get a mindset like, hey, I want to weigh what I did my sophomore year in high school or something crazy like that to chase. But you have these goals that over the summer you can find out whether you can go do these things physically. Right. The bigger picture one being off the medication.
Yeah, that's huge. I was taking medication for diabetes and ADHD. I'm healthy. Besides overweight, I'm healthy. So why am I taking these medications? Like, you Google them and the first thing that comes up are these flashing warnings for like cancers and thyroid issues. Why am I doing that to myself? So
tons of credit to take the bulls by the horns, and let's move it forward. And you did the first step, which is identify where you're at now, which you did share the medication piece and the fitness piece, which I'm familiar with. What are some things you did well over this past year that we can kind of carry forward?
I try to be active every day. whether it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I try to do something every day. I got an Apple Watch and I didn't wear it for a long time. And now I strictly wear it for these challenges, like the active move and challenges.
Yeah.
And that's why I wear it now. And it's just a personal challenge with myself. So I try and be active every day. Besides Synergy, I spin. I started walking my neighborhood, which has a lot of hills. So
good. And that little bit of exercise you say, and you hit the nail on the head, like 20, 30 minutes, a minimum effective dose. You get your heart rate up a little. You get some hormonal releases in your body. You get the benefits of the exercise. So excellent with that. What else is going well?
Nutrition is okay. It's better than it has been in the past. I'm on a slope right now since like Thanksgiving. I'm starting the rabbit challenge, so I've kind of been on this thing where I'm starting tomorrow, so why
tomorrow, 4 p.m.
Yeah. But like, why finish the cookies today, And I've been on that slope since like Thanksgiving where I'll start tomorrow. So I'm glad that we have this challenge coming up, but I don't know why I do that to myself.
Well, selfishly, this challenge is a lot for me because I did it to myself too. And I know it. And that just is like the jump start. And I wrote about it in that book a couple of years ago that we have to look at seasons to understand we're going to go through the cycles. It's like everything in the natural world has seasons, but somehow we think our lives are going to be different. It's going to be a rocket ship trajectory right to where we want to go.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're going to have seasons where your family's going to be over. You're going to have birthday parties. You're going to have holidays. You're going to have everything going on. You have to say to myself, okay, well, this is going to be kind of the maintenance season. This is the winter for weight loss. And then a season that's coming up is like, all right, well, now is the time that's appropriate for me to focus on and ramp it up. And then, this season, spring will probably be more focus on fitness things than weight loss things because you want to go into the summer able to climb the mountains and do the rafting and all that. So understanding that seasonal approach versus, again, to compliment you, but I want to hammer this home versus like, hey, let's track the scale number on everything and base my happiness on that. So good use of the seasons. And that's why we're going into kind of the rabbit season coming up. What else went well over the last year? I'll even throw one in for you. Is you went and found some things outside to do. You went to Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, some beautiful places where sometimes people go on vacations and not knock on anyone's personal vacation choice, but they sit around and they plan around food. And that's kind of how their lifestyle is. But you have some active things already coming up.
Yeah. I also I realized, if I don't get to Utah, Wyoming, California, there's things here that I want to do also, which I just came to that realization just a couple of days ago. I'm like, what if I can't get to those places? I live in, I'm from Texas where everything's flat and there's cool things to do, but here, I need to utilize the things that are around me also, which I'm looking forward to doing that also.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to see if I can share my screen to share a picture with you.
Okay.
It's one that we use at Synergy as a business. We use it with people when we're doing, it's how we plan our years out, and it's almost like silly creative, but it helps us think a little bit. And I'm only delaying it because I am not great at technology and I'm figuring it out as I talk. I think I got it. Do you see my pretty boat?
I do see it. Yes.
So this is actually from last week when Christa, Brian, and I sat down and we figured out our planning for the year as a company, but we also do it as individuals. We took everything that's going well, the stuff you're sharing with me, and we drew a picture of a sailboat. And we put all the things that are going well in the blue Post-its. Those are kind of like the wind in the sails, things that we want to continue. We don't want to lose sight on these things because they're very important. But we want to acknowledge what's going well and build up our wins. Things that are below next to my beautifully drawn anchor are things that are going to be challenges this upcoming year. Mm-hmm. And so we honestly identify challenges that we're going to face, whether it's nutrition, whether it's dinner with that whole family enjoys. All those things go on the challenges list. Now, it is good to identify challenges. Challenges are good. And it's tough to get off that negative connotation like, oh, no, a challenge is coming. But if we can identify them, and here's kind of the planning phase, and it's kind of outside the scope of the call, but I would think you to come up with a list of challenges. And expand the list that's going well. Apple Watch, things to do. You're eating while you have your fitness every day. So you have your wins and your challenges. Now comes kind of the annual planning is you take one of those challenges and say, I'm going to work on this one this month. And then by the end of the month, you want to be able to move it to a positive. one at a time, one step at a time. If you can picture those beautiful creeks or rivers you're going to be rafting, no one's going to be able to swim all the way across. If they had one, it'd be like you step on one rock, then the next rock, then the next rock, then you get across. So the goal is to identify those steps along the way. And so I would push you to identify the challenges. A couple will be nutrition based, and regardless of how small you think they are, put them on there, because it is so psychologically rewarding to take something that's a challenge and wad it up and mark it as done, and then move something into the positive list. So it could be as much as have a veggie with dinner. And maybe you already do this. This is just an example. But if you do that for a week, you get to pull it off your board and see progress as you go each step of the way. What's one of the challenges that we can talk about now? What's one that you'd like to discuss?
I don't know if this is bigger than you're thinking, but like this rabbit challenge, like I've already have my Synergy booked. A lot of obstacles I face getting to Synergy or even spin is my family, like after school, after work. So I've booked up 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. So that's my first challenge, Monday, waking up, having everything prepared and ready to go at 5:40 out the door.
Yeah, that's the first step. So each challenge you have, you're going to want to have multiple solutions usually in the fitness world. So it's get up at 6 and get there before the day goes off the rails. And that's the same challenge with me for running Synergy. I am up because I would try to do my creative work, like write to all the members and everything throughout the day, but I would be thrown off. My kids are being homeschooled right now, so everyone's at home and it's all nuts. So now 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., I lock myself in the basement. Those 5 hours are creative time, and it's a challenge to do. But if that doesn't happen, you need to have a backup plan. Like I would suggest writing down a list of 3 or 4 things that you can use as a fallback to do at home, like one of the Facebook Lives. Go walk for 45 minutes and you have the route already done, so that thinking's off your plate. Whatever 45-minute blocks of exercises you come up with, get a list of 4 or 5 so you don't have that frustration of I missed 6 a.m. I screwed up, the challenge is over.
Right.
So I would same thing I was going to say with the activity in the area. You should have a list of places around that you could go walk. Finger Lakes Trail. I was talking with a member this morning over at Andwell about the Finger Lakes Trail or Oakley Corners or Jones Park, and just have a list so it takes the thinking off your plate when it becomes that willpower strife, which is in the moment. Like, what am I going to do? And if you don't have some choices, it's going to be so hard to do. So for you, what are some other 45-minute workout choices? Let's say 6 a.m. comes and a child gets up at the same time you do and starts throwing up. So what's something else?
I've done the Facebook Live workouts, so I have those, know how to access them. I have a little set up in my home. The Train Heroic, I could probably have something
one of those. Yeah.
Walking my neighborhood is great. Lots of hills and lots of different routes to take. So those are backup things.
Okay, perfect. So you have your 6 a.m. planned, and you have a plan if it goes off course, because one of the things you want to avoid is saying like me and my family are on opposite ends of the spectrum. And reality is that it'll work together. You're doing this largely because of your family and for your family to be able to enjoy these things with your kids. So when things get thrown off, I used to get real frustrated, like, no, this is me time. I need to work out. Yes. And the reality is, well, you know what? We're doing that for them. Maybe they need me right now. I can do this smaller item for me later on. And the majority of the days you'll be able to get the bigger item in. Sometimes you have to concede and say, all right, well, today I just need to go for this walk. And it's almost the giving yourself mental permission to do that is going to be important. Even during a rabbit challenge where things will seem more intense, it's a good training exercise in giving yourself mental permission to do what you need to do for your family and your goals. What's another challenge?
Whole foods, or eating whole foods, one ingredient foods. But I've already made, like, I'm going to the grocery store, I've made a list, I easily get wrapped up in like the Whole30. I started looking at that website and what's good and what's bad, and these dressings are okay. So I got wrapped up in that, and I just needed to simplify it. So that's a challenge, is not getting like sucked into what's good, what's bad, just keep it simple.
Yes. So yeah, on your like little challenge post-it, I'm just using my example of the boat,
Uh-huh.
could be you know, healthy dinners. And the solution would be this month find one more healthy dinner I like. Not
Mhm.
30, not
Yeah.
even 14, not even 5. Just find one healthy recipe because you get paralysis by overanalysis that there's so much out there.
Yeah.
And I can't speak to your tastes, but you can find one a month and just add to your repertoire. At the end of the year, you'll have 12 good ones. That's more than a week, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But again, setting that expectation, giving yourself permission to say, I can figure out all this stuff later on. I just need one right now.
Yeah.
What are some of the ones what are some of the whole foods you'll be leaning on?
I Brussels sprout. I bought shaved Brussels sprouts, cabbage, eggs, chicken, basic stuff that also I can add together and make something out of. So
yeah, I've actually liked air fried Brussels sprouts. They're one of my go-to. Mel's got the air fryer going. Oh, they're so good. The chicken, the eggs. Have your basics set up, and then that way you can just add one when you need it.
Yeah.
But those sound good. You have a good mix of protein and fibrous carbs and vegetables, and the fruit almost becomes like a treat because if you cut out a lot of the refined sugars, it'll be shocking how sweet fruit tastes. You're like, whoa! It's like when you detox from not eating. It'll take about 2 weeks, but when you stop from all the Christmas cookies and stuff, they almost become like less sweet. And if you stop eating that stuff, it's just like if you stop drinking coffee for 2 weeks and then you drink one, you're like, whoa! Like same thing happens with sugar. Same thing happens with a lot of food.
Right.
So I really like those food choices. Okay, good. I want to make sure I answer at least the food and the exercise questions. That's in my wheelhouse, and the goal setting questions we're working on. What else can I help you with, Christa?
That's my thing. Like I'm really focusing on these 28 days. The fitness that you have, laid out, and the nutrition. That's really my focus, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm excited to start it. I'm excited for 4:00 tomorrow.
Beautiful. Me too.
I really am.
Time of year. And I will address what to do after it already is that just like when we've had these challenges before, you have to bridge it into a new season, which for you, let's say we do this for 28 days, takes us into February. And maybe it is you continue on, you give yourself one, cheat day with the family on the weekend, and you do the 45 minutes or exercise or the 20, but not both.
Right.
And then maybe we get into the spring and you say, well, we have a trip plan. Trip planning is like a really good goal motivator to keep you on track. So maybe you are able to plan one wherever the crazy world is by then, but maybe you can plan a trip at the end of June or July or August. And then that month before you go back to doing 45 minutes of walking and your exercises. So then you hit the ground running and you have a high chance of success. It's like, when we trained for college athletics, we did it seasonally. So we get ready for the season, then you'd maintain through the season, then you'd have your recovery period. That's what they do from the high level athletes, right down to the all levels. But as adults, we kind of lose that picture. And again, we assume that it's going to go in one direction, but kind of think ahead a little bit is what I'm encouraging Christa, is that as you get into February, what do you want to do in February, and start to think about that mid-January, so that excitement you have now where you're looking forward to 4 p.m. tomorrow to get started the challenge exists again in February, exists again in March. So you have a game plan. And as we cross those bridges, feel free to send me an email. Feel free to reach out and say, hey, here's what I'm thinking for February. Is there anything else you'd recommend? And I'd love to help you out.
Okay.
If there's no other questions, I'll let you get back to your family and back to your food planning.
Sounds good. Thank you.
My pleasure. Talk to you soon, Christa. Thank you for doing the call. Bye. Bye.